Safety tech, innovation, transformation, and leadership impact. Welcome to Safety Beyond Compliance podcast, a platform for global leaders driving change, with Lucas Domingues.
Hello, everyone. We are live again. Welcome to Safety Beyond Compliance, the podcast where we connect safety, people, and technology. Well, it's Halloween week, and this time we're going to talk about fear, but not fear of ghosts, witches, and monsters. We are going to talk about fear of being replaced by AI, fear when a new technology is introduced in the workplace, and also fear of not coping up with the technologies that are starting to emerge every day, every time that we talk about something new, boom, it's arriving in the workplace, right? So, my name is Lucas. I'm your host. I'm joining from London. And this time we go international again because my special guest today is joining us from Brazil and it's my hometown. So I'm very, very excited about this conversation. And this time I'm going to talk about something that is not technology itself. It's not about data, AI, gadgets, and things like that. It's about how do we build a human firewall in the digital age. So I'm extremely happy to welcome Juliana Bley, a global leader, psychologist, TED speaker, author, and a world authority in psychological safety. So, Juliana, welcome to Safety Beyond Compliance. How are you today?
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here with you in this conversation because I'm completely on this topic and curious about how can face and establish a good relationship with this thing that is coming into our lives, that is AI and technology. So glad to be here, Lucas. Thanks for the invitation.
No, it's my pleasure, Juliana. I'm very privileged for you to have accepted this invitation. So before we get started, let me tell you a few things. So if you're watching us today live on LinkedIn, there is just one reason why I'm doing that. It's for you to participate so this conversation can be dynamic. So why not starting by telling us where from you're, joining us today? So just put a comment on LinkedIn and hopefully I'm going to read. And throughout this conversation, you can ask your questions. And at the end of the conversation, Juliana and I will be answering your questions as well. Okay. So to get started, Juliana, I think it's important to bring everyone that's watching us to the same page. The term psychological safety is something that we hear all the time, so it's becoming like a buzzword for some people that doesn't understand what it means. Mm-hmm. So to make sure that everyone is on the same page, what is it about?
Great question. The name psychological safety maybe could put ourselves in a wrong way to understanding this concept. It's not just about your feelings under your skin. The name psychological could put us in these connections. It's psychological, so it's something about me and my feelings. It's not about it. Psychological safety is about social interactions. How safe I can feel into this social field, in the relationship with these people, and if I can feel more comfortable and courageous to express myself, to express my ideas, to report some difficult things, to face some tough conversations without judgment, a lot of judgment, fear of being arrested, be pressured by my peers, by my leaders. So it's important to understanding that this concept and this phenomena is about social interactions and the quality of the relationship that we can build every day in our workplaces. Is about this, not just about my own feelings, right?
That's really interesting, Juliana. And I guess this is exactly what forms the foundation of a strong culture, organizational culture in general, right?
Mhm.
Without this solid foundation, this baseline, we can feel, let's say, exercise at work without having confidence to speak up and to intervene when something is not looking well or safe. And I guess without psychological safety in the context of workplace, people can then feel that if they speak up, they can have like, let's say, their line manager can not be happy with them, let's say, speaking up
Mhm.
and creating a situation about that, right?
Mhm. Of course, we are here trying to identify
Mm-hmm.
and to develop some strategies to cope with
Mm-hmm.
the social risks. I have if I have the risk of being hired because of my comments or something that I told to something that I mentioned in some meeting, I am facing the risk to be misunderstood, to become under the judgment of my team,
Mm.
being labeled, being um, receiving some marks, social marks from the group that could
Okay.
that could be uh, problematic or create some trouble for my career, for my desire to be promoted, to move on into my career. So these are the kind of risks that we are talking about, and
Mm-hmm.
they are threats to the good workplace environment, healthy workplace environment that could promote dignity and good relationship for people.
That's very interesting. I'm sure that still nowadays, we're talking about modern work conditions. We see these situations, everywhere. No matter how big or small your workplace is,
Mhm.
you are not immune to those things. So that's the reason why it's important to have this conversation and build confidence. That it's something that needs to be normalized. It's like a good conversation to have with your peers, with your line manager, with everyone in your working group. Fantastic. So thanks for explaining so everyone now understands what we are talking about. But before diving in the topic of today's conversation, which is building the human firewall,
Mhm.
I would like to ask something about you personally, right? So you have a successful career. You've been everywhere. Last year, you came to Germany to speak in front of hundreds of people, right? So you are a global authority in psychological safety. But can you bring us to the starting of your career and explain just how you got involved in this field and how you then transition into workplace safety, helping hundreds of companies and thousands of people in Brazil and abroad?
Oh, great. I felt in love with this area, health and safety, and promoting culture of care in workplaces in precisely in 1999 when I was in the psychology graduation.
Wow.
I discovered this area. It was completely out of my landscape at that moment. And this purpose of helping with psychology and human sciences, engineers, technicians, leaders, managers, in how to prepare workplaces to become good places for people in many different dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a lot, and I I've been working on it as a researcher, as a consultant, as a speaker, teacher, all of these years. I made a master's. I got a master's degree in 2004,
Mm-hmm.
studying how industrial high risk industrial organizations were teaching people the work safely, to behave safely, to handle the risks, the everyday risks in their jobs in a preventive way.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really exciting to research and to explore this area. And I am producing strategies, theories, and concepts until now, and methodologies about it, that is learning in AHS. How
Mm-hmm.
can we provide good educational programs for people into the workplaces, into the companies, organizing these projects and programs in order to be more interesting, more effective, more interactive
Mm-hmm.
in an andragogical way. That is one of the sources that I use a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my path. 8 years ago, I create a safety lab that is a
Yeah.
learning
I
environment.
know about it, and I'm very excited for you to tell us more about this fantastic group that you created. It's very successful. So please share more about it.
Yes, is a learning ecosystem for EHS professionals and leaders in every areas of in every kind of industries, different
Mm-hmm.
areas, different kinds of risks and operational systems based on a systemic view in safety. And its purpose is to provide for these professionals educational skills in order to develop better learning spaces and learning projects into the field, into the companies, using the resources that are available in the company to engage more people and to connect more people with a good view of safety and a
Mm-hmm.
positive view of safety, and not in an avoidance view of safety. It's not
Mm-hmm.
about compliance, it's about trust and connection and working collaboratively. This
I
is
love it. I love it. You just mentioned that it's not about compliance, and that's the name of the podcast, Safety Beyond Compliance. So I forgot to mention this when I introduced you, Juliana, that you're also an educator. And that's so important, so powerful for you to share what you know, what you've studied with others so you can help other organizations to thrive as well. Another thing that you mentioned that really struck me is that makes safety exciting. Safety is, sometimes it's so boring for people to engage with and to support. They feel that's like it's a tick box exercise for them, which shouldn't
yeah.
be like that. So if we create the platform and the conditions for people to see that safety is actually something that creates value for the business and protects them, it's truly amazing. So yeah, so you've been working in this field for almost 30 years.
Mhm.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
guess we started with like 9 years old. You look so young and fresh.
No, I am a committed practitioner of self-care.
Okay, that explains a lot,
Yeah,
Juliana.
yeah, it could remain in a good outcome.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So where are you joining us today from, Juliana? Is it São Paulo or
I live in Curitiba, the south of
Curitiba?
Brazil. In south of
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
So the weather here in London today is so poor. It's been raining the whole day. But anyway, I think you were bringing a sunshine to me, being part of this conversation today, Juliana.
No, I am
Um,
actually in the same page on you in the weather, because Curitiba
really?
is the worst weather in Brazil. We
Yeah,
are not
yeah,
in a tropical weather here in Curitiba. It's not our
yeah.
reality.
You know what? I haven't been to Curitiba yet, so it's
No.
on my
Mm,
to-go list. I go to Brazil or maybe 2 times a year, and definitely it's one of the cities I would like to
really.
visit. Okay, so let's now talk about excitement and hidden fears when we are introducing technology in the workplace. I guess in the last year or so, the topic AI and safety tech and technology has exploded. It's in every conversation, Juliana, from the boardroom to the shop floor. People are talking about AI. And when we bring this type of technologies to the workplace, it's often discuss about how this could improve productivity, how this can make work better, how can we increase revenue, how can we make workplaces safer and smart, and that's great. But I guess when we flip the coin, there's another side of this conversation that I don't hear too often, which is what are the fears and the issues when we bring new technologies to the workplace? Because first, as a health and safety professional, I'm talking about myself. When I took my diploma and all certificates along the way, I was never trained in digital skills. So everything I learned, it's because I wanted to go, to new heights, and then I started to study for my, by myself, and I've been really fortunate to have worked in environments very, very interesting in London. So the last two roles that I had were in two unicorn startups here in London. One in EV manufacturing, electric vehicles, and the most recent one before launching Shield 360 was about renewable energy and the storage of renewable energies in lithium batteries. So I was very fortunate. But for people that are watching or listening to us right now, when something is introduced, they can get excited, but they also can get scared. How can we build this human firewall so we can better navigate the changes of this new digital age, Juliana?
How many hours do you have?
I can stay here the whole afternoon just for you.
A lot of things to say and to explore with you in these questions. Great question.
Okay, let's go.
Every change in our routine, in our mindset, in our way to proceed in a daily life, in a daily job, every change triggers fear, resistance, fixed behaviors to avoid some new situation, and curiosity and excitement. And it depends on how it is going to your daily life and the environment, how this environment is handling these things. So, changes every time could trigger fear and uncertainty, insecurity, doubt, anxiety questions,
stress. Absolutely.
The meaning behind the stress as a syndrome is an adaptive syndrome.
Interesting.
Stress is a way that your body, your whole body, emotional body and mental body, is adapting with something new, something that could be tough, that could be a challenge for you in any sense. So, of course, stress is present into the learning process. If you are learning something new, like how to use properly the ChatGPT, you will feel some stress signs in your body, in your mind, to get overwhelmed, to get tired, and sometimes excited. Sometimes you can feel with desire to go off with this and never come back. So this is natural and desirable. It's okay. But this part of the process, if you take care of the rhythm, of the pace of the process, if the social environment and the organizational culture is helping and supporting you into this journey and not making you feel without support, pressured, and with a speed that is not real for you, this is a problem. So
yeah, Juliana, before you continue, you mentioned something that is really important, which is speed. As I said, AI and associated technologies, they are pretty much aiming to improve productivity and speed.
Mhm.
And that puts a lot of pressure on us, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty sure people watching us now, they feel, well, I hear a lot about AI, but I feel so insecure about how to use it properly.
Mhm.
Sometimes the company are not giving the training or the right conditions for the people to flourish and learn, and that creates anxiety, that creates the fear that we were talking about, correct?
Yes, it's easy to feel overloaded.
Mm.
So there is a lot of things to get in touch, to understanding, to know and to adapt.
Mm-hmm.
But one of your protections is in this firewall, human firewall that we are now trying to build together.
Uh-huh.
Be intentional in your focus. It's not
Mm-hmm.
possible to keep in touch with everything in technology, especially if you are not a specialist, if you are receiving new resources to insert in your daily job. So your job is not to be a technology specialist. Your job
Right.
is to be a safety practitioner, a consultant, a
Mm-hmm.
specialist in your area, into your company. So it's important. It's important to decide a point to connect your intentionality. The day has no infinite hours, and you don't have infinite energy and focus and attention.
Mm-hmm.
So what is important for now? Because this rush feeling, it's not healthy.
It isn't. I totally agree with you, Juliana. And you mentioned about if you're a safety practitioner or a safety professional or a consultant, but it does apply to any profession nowadays, right? I'm pretty sure that if you talk to people, lawyers or nurses or
Mhm.
anyone, they feel the same pressure. And the
Yes.
problem is that the information is being bombarded on us, on our brains every day. And so,
Mhm.
companies are more, I might be wrong, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Juliana, but companies are more worried about upgrading systems rather than upgrading brains and training people and, how to cope with the change, right? This is
Yeah,
my perception, at least.
I totally agree with you. And into the safety field, we are now using the expression socio-technical systems, complex social-technical system. This
Okay.
is a way, a lens that you can view the system in a company, in an industry. So we are working in complex social technical systems. And this is about people, technology, and management systems,
Mm-hmm.
decision making, investment resources. All of these aspects, they have to work together. It's exactly the same thing that you are saying when you point this unbalanced situation between technological systems and people or brains. So I always have the perspective that it's important to ask who is in charge, AI
Mm-hmm.
or decision makers? Who is in
That's
charge?
that's a very good question, Juliana. And in my experience, at least in the last year or so, I've been working with many companies and professionals. And people often believe that AI is a magic box, or that you can type something, especially generative AI, and AI will
Mhm.
give you an answer, and that answer is like a change maker, without even understanding what the answer is about. Using AI, I think, is extremely recommended nowadays. So you don't need to fear AI, but you need to use it wisely, and also understand that you shouldn't, or let's say you mustn't, replace your critical thinking with AI, especially if you don't understand how AI works. and it's a topic for another conversation, I guess. But AI can hallucinate, and probably will. There are other risks like bias, discrimination. It can be really misleading, and people are following sometimes AI by the book, and taking the recommendations that AI give very seriously. And when we translate this into the context of workplace safety, is very dangerous. Imagine you are about to do a risk assessment for working at height activity, and then you just ask ChatGPT to do the risk assessment on your behalf. I'm not saying you shouldn't use AI for risk assessment. I use, but you need to understand just the basics of prompt engineering, so you can give a command to AI and the output will be more likely, acceptable. And then you still need to use your skill set, your experience, and your critical thinking to analyze whether that output is something that you can use or not. Are you seeing this type of issues when in your conversations with senior health and safety leaders?
Everywhere, every time. I guess I will take the risk to say that the most critical skills for this situation that you are describing so well is discerning things. This behavior that you described, that is, this everything is great, everything the ChatGPT is telling me is true, and this is completely reliable. Every time it will help me to produce more. This is so naive.
Absolutely.
So it's a child behavior, if I can name it in this way.
Juliana,
Sorry.
It's like you hit the nail on the head again. That's why you're brilliant. You mentioned about the child's behavior, and when people that doesn't understand AI ask me to explain what AI is, usually I say something like, think about AI as a powerful PhD brain that knows a lot, but trapped in a child's head, that doesn't have maturity, doesn't understand about safety, about behavior. I think it's a good way to explain what AI is for people that are not very tuned into technology, right?
Yes. And discerning is a skill, a kind of skill that adults have.
Yes.
When you are evaluating the maturity of some person, one of the things that you have to observe is their capacity to discern, to experience things, people, and situations, discerning the good, the bad, the ethical, the dangerous. Discerning is a critical skill, and this is not so developed into our society overall. At this moment of the humankind that we are living, with a lot of uncertainty and a lot of social media, we are losing this ability to discerning some things. It's been hard to make this operation of discerning. Whoa, what is fake news? What is true? What is based on science or evidence? What is a completely nuts idea? So this is not so easy, but we have to reinforce this exercise in every decision that we are making about AI implementation. When, why, where, with whom. And leaders have to exercise it more and more, because it's not a simple answer. Never.
Yeah. And I guess all the companies are pretty much on the same phase of the journey. They are trying to understand what AI can do for them, They are experimenting new AI uses, and people are in the middle of everything. Where is my training? How do I, become capable of using AI properly in the context of work? Where are the skills? And you said something brilliant. You said that health and safety and environmental professionals were not trained by default to be experts in digital, in technologies. And don't worry about that, because you shouldn't. Your core skills are different. But you, at this point, that's my recommendation. You should at least understand the basic. There's so much knowledge around YouTube, podcasts like this, for example, and also free courses that you can take just to understand a bit more about it, so you can make better decisions about that, and being aware of the risk, compliance, and governance issues around AI, Juliana. And I love the way you explained everything, by the way, Ju. So building the human firewall is not building a wall against cyber attacks related to AI. It's building a wall that will strengthen your skill set, soft and hard skills. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And I guess we have different contexts to build this firewall. We have the work context,
Mm-hmm.
in a way that we need to move into this movement. We need to adopt some technologies and resources that my company is adopting, and I have to adapt myself for this situation. So we have a learning process to manage, and we can manage it by ourselves, and we can manage it asking for help, support, and approaches from our companies. So we have educational trials, we have forums, we have LMS to support us with content, good specialists, and structured approaches to support our learning and the change management in the work aspect.
Yeah.
And we have another context that is the personal context. How to protect our mental health from it.
Yes.
Because the hyperconnection, it's not healthy. So these so many hours in front of a screen,
apps, social media.
Yeah, with a lot of content, a lot of information, feeling overwhelmed every day, without pauses, without the right to disconnect. That in France they adopted a few years ago, this right of disconnection for the workers. So we have to pause many times a day and in cycles or periods, because we have to take rest of everything. This is important.
Yeah, it is. And I told you a few days ago that I'm just coming back from a digital detox. I quit social media for 2 years, Instagram, Facebook. I just kept LinkedIn because of work, although I feel that LinkedIn is becoming a social media as well, but it shouldn't. Now I'm back with Instagram to get closer to the people that I'm speaking to and helping them with contents that are not very tailored for LinkedIn. I use Instagram for that. And you mentioned something really important, which is like a mental health and well-being into this context. So in order to build this mindset, how do we get started? What are the key elements? Is it curiosity, adaptive learning? What are your recommendations for building this mindset and cope with the digital pressure on us?
I guess to choose your battles, to use intentionality in order to focus your efforts in a specific type of technology or AI that you have to adopt or to use with some ability, the tools that are more connected with your needs and not everything. This everything landscape is terrible.
Yeah.
Because it overwhelms you and make you feel every time missing something. And this is not a good feeling to have as a partner in this journey. So I am choosing it to put myself into the journey, and I am using my intentionality to build a good relationship with this in a way that is more connected with my needs and my interests. So this is a good way to use it. Um, uh, uh, Prepare and design your journey using moments of disconnection. This is really important. Feed yourself with real life and not just with technology. I really like a guy. The name is Jaron Lanier. He's one of the internet creators, and he creates the virtual reality. He wrote a book some years ago. The name is 10 Reasons to be outside of the social media or something like this. And the creator of everything is advising you to go out.
And that's an important sign, right?
Yes, and in the end of the book, he mentioned something interesting. If you want to stay there, you can behave as a cat, not as a dog.
Okay.
Because the dog was completely domesticated by humankind, and he's completely I forgot the word in English, but it's
You can say in Portuguese. You can say in Portuguese, no problem.
Obedient. The dog is completely obedient, and the cat, all the cats have never allows themselves to be so obedient, so submetido, so open to behave properly. So if you want to remain into the social media and technology, maybe you can act like a cat. I guess it's a real extraordinary device.
I think so. That's the first time I hear, and I will always remember this in my conversations going forward. So, okay, so behaving like a cat, fantastic.
Yes, without
Building
yes.
Yes, that's a good point. You also mentioned about resilience, right?
Yes,
And
resilience, and something I would like to put in this conversation, that is transparency and dialogue. But this is not an individual journey. This is a social journey, and workplaces are social environments. So we don't have to suffer alone. We have to design time and space to have good conversations with our peers, with our colleagues, with our clients, with our leaders and the specialists about this.
And
Because
Juliana, sorry to cut you short, but this is a great advice. And if someone wants to promote this approach in their organizations, how they should approach this topic with their line management, in case it is like a conversation that's it's somewhere, in the corner of the room, nobody really wants to promote this talk. So what people should do about it if they are uncomfortable, they feel that it's been a lot, it's affecting people's and the team's morale and their psychological safety, how to approach this with the company? Can you give us some tips for us?
in the real world, we can ask for help for HR people, business partners, people that are working in HR in order to support us in this change management, because open space to dialogue is a tool, a change management tool. This is not, we are here discussing and complaining about the company. It's not about it. It's about to create a safe space to people express themselves, the beginning of our conversation, and express their feelings. I am scared. I have a lot of doubts and questions, and I am not sure with whom to share these questions. I am feeling with less support than I need to move on into this change. So people need belonging and partnership to move on into complex learning situations, crisis management, change management, critical situations. All of these situations, they are better managed if we provide collective forums for these people, interact, dialogue, co-create some solutions, make good agreements, and learn from each other. It's not all about training, PowerPoints, and official announcements.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is all part of the thing. The daily practice together, it builds a good environment for learning something so complex that AI and
I agree. So resilience is about trust at the end of the day, right? You need to trust the organization, your peers, trust yourself. But it's also good to understand that although we have to trust ourselves, it's okay if we don't. And it's important to speak up and ask for help, right? Because although technology are entering the workplace safety context, I think that sometimes it can be dangerous. It can create another risks and hazards. So my background is pretty much oil and gas. It's an organization it's an industry that has a lot of technologies, but adding more and more and more and more without taking pause and, as I said, change management, risk management, training, and creating the conditions that could create the hazards and the risks, and something catastrophic can happen, and things can go wrong really badly, right? So need to have a balance, right? Because technology is good, but too much technology without any purpose, without addressing a problem, without being intentional, as I said, is another big problem, right?
Yes. Silence, it could be a critical danger, critical risk in a complex socio-technical system. Silence, it could be an operational risk. Loneliness, it could turn into an operational risk. If I have to adapt some operational situation and I feel I am lonely, I am by myself with this situation, and I think that is so risky to ask for help, to report the situation. I decide to do something by myself, and it could be catastrophic. So silence, loneliness, miscommunication. It's terrible when you are knocking on some leaders' doors and the door is not opening for you. It's terrible.
I've been there myself many times, Juliana. Don't tell me. Yeah, I know the feeling. This is a bad feeling for sure. But answer this question here, Juliana. So how do we turn that feeling of I'm behind or I not finding the answers into I am learning? So what's your main recommendations for people that wants to be more technology driven because nowadays it's so critically important, but without feeling overwhelmed about that?
Let me share with you something that we experience many times in learning community on safety labs.
Mm-hmm.
We have more than 6,000 professionals in the community currently, and they often used to say, uh, I was aware about my pain points in my daily practice in my company, but when I got here with these people that came from different industries, from different environments, from different regions of the country, and I started to listen them about the same pain points with a different language, with different levels of risks, but we are suffering with the same pain points. And this is so relieved because I can feel into a group when we can breathe and talk about this, and maybe discover some situation, some opportunity to move on in one single step into a new situation. This is so valuable. So
Yes.
for me, the thinking collectively, be part of a group. It could be a small group, 3 or 4 person, or it could be a big group in your company or outside the company and in your personal life with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk about it, listening people, and the most important thing, feel that you are suffering from the same things that these people are being impacted, and you are moving on into the new world, just like these people is trying to do in their own ways.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
is so supportive
I
and
agree.
important.
I agree. I agree. So it's a collective journey. There are very few people in the world that are really advanced in terms of safety tech, AI.
Yeah.
So avoiding comparisons, with those people is really, really important. Everyone has their own journey, and we are going through the same thing. And every time that you see an opportunity to bring this topic to the, like I say, to the mainstream in your workplace, you should, because um, you know when the psychological safety of your group is being affected, that can be very impactful. The damage can be irreversible. Juliana, I'm loving this conversation. To be honest,
Oh, me
I
too.
could I could stay here, for hours just talking about that, because it's something that inspires me a lot. You mentioned about the safety lab. I just would like you to provide some more information about the safety labs and how people can be involved. What are the topics that you cover? And I have comment before you, actually one question before you start. Is safety tech, AI, digitalization part of your curriculum or not yet? Please let's explain about it.
Not yet, and I have a good reason for this.
Okay.
I am not avoiding the technology in this learning ecosystem, but I believe studying education, safety, learning for safety all of these years,
Mm-hmm.
that if we have technology, but we don't have a good framework and a good approach, educational approach, you are losing resources, you are spending time and money, people are not learning, and
Mm-hmm.
all of these things is just makeup, it's just jewelry, it's just a superficial experience. I have a lot of
Yeah.
cases to mention about this situation here in Brazil and abroad. We have a lot of situations when we have money to buy extraordinary technology, VR, simulators, a lot of things to use in our learning environments,
Mm-hmm.
but don't have methodology. We don't have learning design. We don't have clear competence to build. We don't have good content. So in Safety Lab, my focus is more in the first time to build this basement, this land, to nurture the land, and then start to connect technology and everything.
Okay, that makes
This
sense. That makes sense. And having said that, let me just pitch something very quickly here to the audience.
okay.
I am about to launch the world's first IOSH approved, and for those who are not familiar with IOSH, it stands for the Institute of Occupational Health and Safety of the UK, which is the largest membership organization for health and safety professionals in the world. So I partnered with IOSH, and we are launching this, unique world's first Safety 4.0 course for health and safety and environmental leaders globally. You get a certificate from IOSH, which is something really good for your CV, and most importantly, because you're upgrading your brains. That's what we discussed, in the beginning of this conversation. So if you have this interest about learning more on this topic, but you are kind of a bit lost, please scan this QR code of your screen and join the wait list for this, unique course that's coming in a few weeks. I'm very excited about that, Juliana. And maybe in the future, it's something for us to collaborate together with Safety Labs and this course.
I'm really curious about this course. I am putting my name into this wait list as well.
Yeah, I'll send you details. But the reason why I'm creating this course is because although it's so important nowadays, Juliana, to not to become an expert, as you said, but to have a broader understanding about how to use those tools and systems in the workplace safety context. Because without the knowledge, without the baseline, you might jump into the next, fancy, shiny software. You're going to spend money. You are going to use it, sometimes not as it should. You can harm someone in the process because, as I said, if you use it for risk management, other stuff, you have people's life on the line. So you need to be very cautious about that. So that's the reason I created the course, and I'll be sharing more information very soon. But back to the Safety Labs, please. I'm very excited to learn more about it, Juliana.
I'm completely with you in this point. Fireworks, it's not the same. A good environment to developing structured competences, and
Sure.
we need to improve some capabilities like adaptability. This is so hard to develop it. It's a complex, a sophisticated capability. And but we have a VR and with a huge experience, amazing, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Really interesting. But in the end of the day, this guy is more capable to adapt, or he's just with a Disney experience in his TV, right? I don't have any problem with Disney, but we are
I love
talking
these
about
days. Yeah.
entertainment versus education.
Yeah.
Entertainment and education are not the same thing. It could work together in a good way, but just entertainment is not enough to prepare people to face risks every day. So
if I can,
the point.
If I can reflect on what you just said, especially on the safety tech side of things, it's like you have a use case or a problem you want to solve with AI, but you're going to use a bazooka. And when you shoot, the whole area can be damaged. Mm-hmm. But if you act like a sniper, laser focus, you hit the problem, you hit a very, just the area that needs to be, treated with that particular tool. So this course that I just told you is about, becoming the sniper and not the bazooka shooter. When is the next, cohort of the Safety Labs, Juliana?
We have our agenda already in our website for the next year. And the Safety Lab is a space, a journey of 3 days in an immersion experiences, and we have something like 50 people each edition, and one edition per year that is online. It's more fitable for people that lives abroad, and it's more it's prepared for people that could be with us in presence, but we have an agenda with 4 events in presence for 2026. We have a playlist on my YouTube channel that you can keep in touch with the environment and listening some participants with English subtitles. So we have there some good information. And in my website, we have a part in English with our impact report in English. So if people are curious about our results and profile of these professionals, our impact focus, the tools and the transformation that we are being able to measure, it's everything there in our impact report.
Fantastic, Juliana. So you mentioned about your YouTube channel. I'm going to subscribe. I wasn't aware you have one. I do have one that I recently started, and this conversation will be on YouTube and Spotify this week. So scan the QR code, join and subscribe so you never miss an upcoming episode of the Safety 4.0 Power Series in the Safety Beyond Compliance podcast. So today I spoke with the amazing Juliana Bley. And I even didn't mention that Juliana's business is a B Corp certified company, right? So, I'm sure that if we wanted, we could be here talking for hours. But I hope we delivered the value that you wanted. So, Juliana, before we wrap up this session, final considerations. Can you please just, conclude your thoughts about psychological safety and building the human firewall in the digital age, please?
No, Lucas, so glad, so honored to be here. Of course, we could keep this conversation for hours, and this is really interesting and necessary for everyone, for every single safety professional and people that are being part of this environment, because we have a double role in this situation. We are learning as professionals, single professionals, and as individuals, and we have to support people's learning. This is important.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We are both professionals in a learning journey, a challenging learning journey, talking about technology, and of course we have the opportunity, and we are accountable for people's learning journeys as well. So we have to prepare ourselves in these both roles and these both responsibilities. This is the first thing. And the second part of it, for me personally, the discussion around AI is a public discussion and a social discussion.
Very true.
So this is not just about companies or safety or us as an individuals facing everything, but as a society, we have to discuss it with transparency and in different forums and spaces, because who is in charge? It's not just the tech or the owners of these companies, but we as citizens and as a human beings, we need to take part of this table and to put our needs and boundaries on the table, and discussing biases, discussing ethical aspects, including the losing jobs from AI and all of these concerns that people used to have. And all of these things are not things that we are just watching people decide about it. We have to be
Hmm.
part of conversations because we are building together our future. And
I
if
agree.
we want future could be good for everybody,
Hmm.
we have to take part of this table as soon as possible.
I agree, Juliana. I couldn't agree more with you. Well, it's Halloween week, as I said. The fears, they are still there, but building good and strong psychological safety is possible. Okay?
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the conversation today. November was a great month here in the Safety Beyond Compliance podcast. I interviewed global leaders that deliver so much value. And I hope you stay with us in December, in November, because I will be, having amazing conversations as well with other people that are not just talking the talk, they are walking the walk, they are delivering value, they are, creating the tools, but also managing the problems, managing the issues. And that's the type of conversation that I want to have in this podcast. So, Juliana, again, it was a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us today. And I hope we stay in touch, although we live in different countries. But as Brazilians, I hope we stay in touch, supporting each other. And if you're watching us today on YouTube or LinkedIn, let's get connected. Please connect with myself, with Juliana, and let's increase this community of safety change makers. And thank you very much, and see you next time.
Thank you. And
Thank
don't
you.
forget, behave as a cat. Don't
Behave as
forget.
a cat. Thank you.